Extreme heat continues to grip South Korea, with the temperatures forecast to reach their peak on Friday. South Korea posted its largest ever monthly current account surplus in June, as booming semiconductor exports drove the country's external balance to a record high. A possible breakthrough may be emerging in efforts to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, with Iran and Oman reportedly finalizing a draft 60-day interim agreement to restore shipping through the strategic waterway. We start with the scorching heat wave sweeping the country. After another blistering day today, forecasters say temperatures are set to peak tomorrow. Our Jo Young-un starts us off.
South Korea remains in the grip of an intense heat wave, with dangerously high temperatures expected to persist across most of the country on Thursday. The scorching weather wasn't limited to the capital, as the Korea Meteorological Administration says heat wave alerts remain in effect nationwide, while tropical nights are also expected to persist. Parts of Gyeonggi-do Province and Jeollanam-do Province also saw temperatures approach 38 degrees Celsius, while the highest level severe heat wave warning expanded beyond the Seoul metropolitan area into inland Gangwon Province. As temperatures in Seoul climb to their highest levels of the summer under a severe heat wave warning, the relentless heat continues to bear down on Gwanghwamun Square behind me. Despite the sweltering conditions, major tourist attractions remain crowded, as many visitors are determined not to miss iconic Korean experiences. The Korea Baseball Organization has extended the heat break to protect players and fans, with the regular season set to resume on Tuesday, August 11.
We were hoping to go to the Dinos game tonight, but we weren't able to go see the baseball game because it's been postponed for the heat. So instead we came to the fountains to cool off a little bit.
It was so hot that even with the air conditioner on at home, it still felt unbearable. So I came to Gwanghwamun Square with my baby to cool off in the fountains.
Daily heat-related illnesses are also reaching record levels. According to the Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency, a total of 208 people were treated for heat-related illnesses at more than 500 emergency rooms nationwide on Wednesday, and one of them died. Nationwide, 23 people have died from heat-related illnesses so far this year. Since the heat illness surveillance system began operating in mid-May, the total number of patients has risen to 2,665. The current heat wave is expected to peak on Friday, coinciding with Ipchu, the traditional beginning of autumn on the lunar calendar. Conditions are expected to ease somewhat over the weekend, but daytime highs will still hover around 35 degrees Celsius, keeping heatwave advisories in effect. The Korea Meteorological Administration is urging people to avoid non-essential outdoor activities, and if working outside is unavoidable, to wear breathable clothing and stay hydrated by drinking plenty of water. Jo Young-un, Arirang News.
And with the extreme weather showing no signs of easing across Korea, President Lee Jae-myung today renewed calls for an all-out government response. Our Blue House correspondent Song Yu-jun reports.
지금은 사실상 국가적인 기후 재난 상황입니다.
That was President Lee Jae-myung's assessment of Korea's record-breaking heat wave, with temperatures exceeding 40 degrees Celsius in parts of the country for several consecutive days. Speaking at a weekly meeting with his top aides on Thursday, Lee urged authorities to respond with the highest level of urgency, with a particular focus on protecting vulnerable groups.
모든 재해는 언제나 어려운 처지의 국민에게 더 큰 위협으로 다가옵니다. 고시원, 쪽방촌, 비닐하우스 같은 취약시설 거주 주민이나 또 공사 현장, 농어촌, 주차장 등에서 일하는 노동자들의 안전에 가용한 행정력을 최대한 집중해야 되겠습니다.
The president also emphasized the need for long-term adaptation. He called for improvements to housing, water infrastructure, and heat response facilities to adjust to what he described as the new normal of extreme heat. Pointing to traditional outdoor markets where businesses often struggle during the summer because of limited cooling facilities, Lee instructed officials to consider including related infrastructure projects in next year's budget. Earlier in the day, the president chaired a joint meeting with relevant ministries and local governments on the baking weather. A key issue was the worsening drought in Korea's southern regions.
당분간 비 예고도 없는 만큼 대체 용수 공급 또 양수 장비 가동 등을 적극 추진해서 안정적인 용수 공급에 차질이 없게 해야 되겠습니다.
Reservoir levels in the region remain at just 50 to 70% of their seasonal average after last month's monsoon rains largely bypassed the south, leaving the area with prolonged extreme heat and low precipitation. 송유진, Arirang News.
Meanwhile, Seoul swelters under relentless heat. Residents are finding relief along the Hangang River, where riverside camping is becoming a popular summer escape. Our Hong Seo-jung has more.
Amid a gentle summer breeze, tents are set up beneath the trees. With sweeping views of the Hangang River, visitors relax in the shade, enjoying a peaceful escape from the heat. Families with children, couples, and foreign tourists have gathered at Yeouido Hangang Park for some camping in the heart of the city.
It's great for active kids to be out in nature. And having a place like this close to home, where we can enjoy the Hangang River, is really a great way to unwind.
Usually, camping overnight is not allowed along the river, but this summer, the city has designated special zones for camping at 4 riverside parks. Running from 5 p.m. to 9 a.m. the next day, the campsites are available free of charge through a reservation-only system with space limited to 100 camping spots per site. Visitors can bring their own tents or rent them on site. QR codes are also available to help foreign visitors easily place food delivery orders. Just a short walk away, swimming pools along the river stay open till 10 p.m. and offer another refreshing escape from the heat. Food stalls by the pool sell food such as ramen and roasted chicken and a range of beverages, while visitors can enjoy the pool at an affordable price.
The entrance fee is really reasonable at only 5,000 won. Going to a beach can be a bit of a hassle, but this place is nearby, so it's much more convenient.
As night falls, visitors order food that's delivered to a nearby delivery zone. With lights coming on, the campsite takes on a romantic atmosphere, allowing campers to relax and enjoy a peaceful evening. Meanwhile, the swimming pool comes alive after dark, with DJ performances on Fridays and weekends setting the mood as visitors soak up the energy of the summer night.
Once I got in the water and got back out, I definitely cooled down. It felt really refreshing.
At the heart of the city, this urban summer getaway that offers camping and swimming facilities will stay open throughout August. Hong Seo-jung, Arirang News. In other news, South Korea set a new record for its current account surplus in June as goods exports broke through the $100 billion mark. Our Lee Ju-yeon has the details.
Korea posted a record-breaking current account surplus in June, setting a new high for the second month in a row. According to the Bank of Korea on Thursday, the surplus reached $49.73 billion. This marks the second consecutive month of record-breaking on-month surpluses, surpassing the previous record of $38.61 billion set in May. The cumulative current account surplus for the first half of the year reached $191 billion, nearly 4 times that recorded during the same period last year. The goods account balance reached a record high surplus of nearly $48 billion, also surpassing the previous record set just a month earlier in May. Exports surged nearly 85% year-on-year to $112.4 billion, marking the first time monthly goods exports have ever exceeded the $100 billion mark. Semiconductors and information technology products sustained their high exports growth.
Driven by an unprecedented boom in semiconductor exports, the expansion of the goods trade surplus accounts for the majority of the increase in the current account balance.
Meanwhile, the service account recorded a deficit of $1.29 billion. However, driven by an increase in foreign tourists, the travel account managed to post a surplus of $440 million.
As the number of foreign visitors surpassed 10 million in the first half for the first time, travel revenues in June hit an all-time high, and total travel receipts for the first half also set a new record for any first-half period.
as Korea's current account continues its strong momentum throughout the year. Authorities had previously set the full-year surplus target at $250 billion. Given that the first half total has already hit $191 billion, officials said the full-year forecast will likely be revised upward. Lee Ju-yeon, Arirang News.
Sidecars are being triggered at a record pace in South Korea's stock market this year, raising fresh questions about whether the decades-old volatility control mechanism remains effective. Our Kim Bo-kyung tells us more.
27 times. That is how many sidecars have been triggered across the Kospi and Kosdaq markets in July alone. During all of 2008, the year of the global financial crisis, sidecars were activated on 45 occasions, but this year the number has already been exceeded. A sidecar is a volatility control mechanism introduced alongside the launch of Korea's futures market, first adopted on the Kospi in 1996 and later on the Kosdaq in 2001. A Kospi sidecar is triggered when the Kospi 200 futures index rises or falls by 5% or more from the previous session's close and is sustained for 1 minute. For the Kosdaq, it's activated for 1 minute when the Kosdaq 150 futures index surges or plunges by 6% or more, and when the cash index moves by 3% or more. It can be triggered once per session and cannot be activated during the last 40 minutes. Unlike a circuit breaker, which halts trading across the entire market, a sidecar temporarily suspends only program trading. Critics say the framework has remained unchanged for too long, for over 2 decades since 2002, failing to keep pace with today's high-speed algorithmic trading and leveraged ETFs. In fact, the U.S. first introduced a sidecar in 1988, but scrapped it in 1999 after it proved ineffective in preventing market declines. Japan, Hong Kong, and China also do not use sidecars. Experts argue that a mechanism originally designed to curb volatility may now be amplifying market swings and fueling investor anxiety. They say revising the trigger thresholds alone is not enough, though, calling instead for broader structural reforms.
With nearly 60% of the market concentrated in semiconductor stocks, gains and losses in the broader market are largely driven by the chip sector. The government and business leaders need to foster growth across a broader range of industries.
There may be a price bubble that is in the prices right now. There's margin calls. There's leverage ETFs, which can increase volatility in the market. That may be a bigger cause of volatility than circuit breakers and sidecars.
Ultimately, experts say improving market stability will require more than just adjusting a 24-year-old rule. It will require addressing the underlying vulnerabilities of the Korean stock market. Kim Bo-kyung, Arirang News.
Foldable phones, once considered a niche product, have become increasingly popular, with the demand rising especially among younger people. For more, our business correspondent Park Junan is here in the studio to walk us through the recent boom and the impact of chipflation. Welcome back, Junan.
It's good to see you again, Tammy.
So, Junan, it looks like foldable phones are making a comeback. Now, do remind us what they look like and what's the reason behind their popularity?
Right, Tammy. So the global mobile market is shifting rapidly toward premium foldables as a survival strategy against skyrocketing component costs. Well, let's take a look at this report first. Even before the store's opening time, groups of people are already lining up to become among the first to buy Samsung Electronics' newly released Galaxy Z Fold and Z Flip series. Despite being the most expensive smartphones in Samsung's lineup, the devices have already been a massive success, with more than 1.44 million units ordered in Korea during the 7-day pre-order period. So, the new Fold series doesn't just unfold the screen, but it also unfolds consumers' wallets and their willingness to spend. And while the Z Fold series was long considered a phone for relatively older adults, Recent reports show that the majority of those who pre-ordered them were actually in their teens to their 30s.
I think the fact that it's wider really breaks away from the conventional foldable design we're used to. It also gives you more ways to personalize and decorate the device. It seems like a great fit for short-form content like YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels, which are especially popular among younger people.
One tech influencer and YouTuber who waited in line for nearly 24 hours to become the first buyer of the new Fold series said the meaningful changes are what make foldable phones so special.
Bar-type phones, every single time when they release this, I feel like it's a minor improvement. However, for the foldables, every single year, it has a bigger improvement. For example, the Fold 8 has the whole different type of aspect ratio. Fold 8 Ultra has a bigger camera.
Foldable mobile devices have seen remarkable growth in just a few years and are still improving. And with growing demand for AI servers, memory and processor prices have skyrocketed, meaning reasonably priced smartphones could soon become increasingly difficult for everyday consumers to afford. At the same time, rising chip prices have given smartphone makers a strong incentive to focus on ultra-premium models to protect their profit margins. Manufacturers are now focusing on devices that appeal to consumers willing to pay more for exclusive features and larger displays. And with the world's largest smartphone builder, Apple, set to join the foldable smartphone race next month, competition in the premium smartphone market is only expected to intensify.
Junan, in your report, you mentioned chipflation. Could you explain what chipflation means and tell us why it matters?
Right, Tammy. So chipflation means chips plus inflation, which refers to semiconductor prices that are surging at an unprecedented pace. Samsung Electronics posted record-high operating profits overall in the second quarter. However, its Device Experience division, which handles consumer products, recorded its first-ever quarterly deficit. This is a direct result of skyrocketing chip prices. According to Counterpoint Research, the cost of memory chips used in smartphones has surged more than 300% over the past year. Because of this, companies can no longer rely on budget-friendly models to protect their margins. By focusing on premium models, they are attempting to offset these high component costs and protect their bottom line.
Well, in the meantime, Junan, there are reports that Apple may be jumping into the market as early as next month. Will consumers be willing to open their wallets, and how far can this foldable market grow?
Right, Tommy. So rumors suggest Apple's first foldable could start at around $2,000 before tax. That means Apple's foldable in Korea could cost anywhere from 3 million to 4 million won, depending on how much storage the device has. By comparison, the Galaxy Z Fold 8 costs roughly $1,600, including tax in Korea, and just under $1,900 in the US before tax. However, because these price hikes are practically unavoidable, companies are packing these phones with top-tier exclusive features like advanced AI to justify the cost.
Well, phones these days easily surpass $1,000 to $2,000. How should consumers interpret the shift where smartphones are becoming more than a luxury item now?
Right, Tommy. So if manufacturers cannot lower smartphone prices, customers will want the absolute highest end model available. Let's take a listen to what an expert had to say.
As memory chip prices continue to rise, smartphone prices are likely to increase as well. That could make consumers more hesitant to spend, leading to them keeping their phones for longer before upgrading.
Furthermore, the younger generations make up a larger share of these premium purchases. For them, a smartphone is an essential part of their digital lives. It is their TV, their gaming console, and a way to express their identity.
Well, you told me you got yourself one as well, so you tell me if it really is worth the money.
Right, it will be delivered maybe in the late August, so
Alrighty.
we'll tell you.
Okay, thank you for the coverage.
Yeah.
Just a few hours ago today, North Korea launched a short-range ballistic missile. Now it's the regime's first ballistic missile launch in 42 days. Our Defense Ministry correspondent Park Kwon-woo tells us more.
A North Korean missile was detected as being launched from coastal areas of Wonsan toward the East Sea at around 5 p.m. on Thursday. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff has said that the missile specifications are currently being analyzed with Washington, and that South Korea and the U.S. have tracked and shared information on the launch from the outset, while also sharing related data with Japan. Adding that the military immediately stepped up surveillance and vigilance against possible additional launches, while maintaining a strong South Korea-U.S. combined defense posture. Thursday's launch marks Pyongyang's first ballistic missile launch in 42 days and its 10th this year.
It could be both a weapons test and a military provocation aimed at sending a message to both the Lee administration and President Trump. With neither Seoul nor Washington currently focused on North Korea, Pyongyang may be trying to remind them that it cannot be ignored.
The same expert added that the Ulchi Freedom Shield exercise, normally held in mid-August, may have been another factor behind the launch. While the North typically launches missiles in the morning, experts say the timing may also be significant.
Military exercises usually slow down during the peak summer heat, but this launch shows North Korea can carry out provocations at any time, regardless of the weather or time of day.
Following Thursday's launch, Seoul's National Security Office convened an emergency security meeting with officials from the Defense Ministry and the JCS. It ordered the military to maintain immediate readiness and assess the potential security impact of the launch. It also condemned the launch as a violation of UN Security Council resolutions and urged Pyongyang to immediately halt such provocations. Park Kwon-woo, Arirang News.
Iran and Oman are closing in on a temporary deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, though major sticking points remain. Kim So-young has the latest.
Negotiators from Iran and Oman have agreed on the framework of a draft plan to reopen the strategic waterway, sharing details with the United States and regional partners. Under the proposed 60-day arrangement, inbound ships would travel through a designated lane near Iranian waters, while outbound vessels would exit along a route closer to Oman. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Ismail Baghai confirmed that Tehran and Muscat have agreed on the exact geographic coordinates for the new routes, with a joint statement now in the final stages of review. While the proposed framework grants Tehran oversight of inbound vessels into Persian Gulf, it stops short of allowing Iran to impose mandatory tolls or service fees. The question of transit fees remain a central flashpoint. A senior Iranian official told Reuters that Tehran is pushing for a fee between 5 and 7% of cargo values. Oman is weighing a smaller 3% charge, while Washington maintains that no fees should be levied at all. Deputy Foreign Minister Kazem Gharibabadi was quick to temper expectations, stressing that any agreement with Oman will not amount to a full reopening of the strait and must remain strictly bilateral. Still, analysts say a finalized deal could create room for Washington and Tehran to re-engage on nuclear diplomacy and potential sanctions relief. Meanwhile, tensions are flaring after the Israeli military confirmed 2 soldiers were killed and 4 others severely wounded in an explosion in southern Lebanon on Wednesday. The incident marks the first Israeli combat casualties in the south since the ceasefire took hold in June. Kim So-young, Arirang News.
Buddhist culture is getting a modern makeover at the 2026 Busan International Buddhism Expo, where visitors can experience centuries-old traditions through art, food, meditation, and live performances. Our Park Tae-ryung tells us more.
Visitors take a closer look at each piece of Buddhist art. Their faces light up with admiration as they take in the fine craftsmanship. Nearby, the iconic contemplative Buddha statue is reimagined using unexpected textures and vibrant colors, while core teachings take shape as playful merchandise. Together, these displays show how Buddhism is reinventing itself for a younger, broader audience.
The meditation helped me gain some insight and feel more at ease.
and making the food myself was fun.
I came to this expo because Buddhist expos these days offer a lot of merchandise aimed at younger people.
At the food section, visitors can explore colorful varieties of temple food and sip tea made from lotus leaves. They are also encouraged to try and make the dishes themselves. Here, visitors are not just tasting temple food. They're preparing it themselves, turning tradition into a hands-on experience. Music added another layer to the lively atmosphere. The gentle hum of singing bowls echoed across the hall, while custom wooden percussion instruments allowed visitors to play familiar melodies. One foreign professor attending the event highlighted how modern expos like this serve as a vital bridge, introducing Korean Buddhism and its traditions to a wider global audience.
And I think a lot of international people are interested in Buddhism. It's kind of a novelty to the Western mind. So I think that a lot of foreigners that come to Korea, they're seeking something different. They're seeking something authentic.
It is only the first day, but we have already seen a lot of visitors. I believe Buddhist expos will continue to become trendier and attract an increasingly younger audience.
By blending age-old traditions with contemporary art, culinary experiences, and everyday lifestyle products, the Busan International Buddhism Expo is making Korean Buddhist culture far more accessible to a growing global audience. Park Chae-ryung, Arirang News, Busan.
Calling it hot almost feels like an understatement at this point. We're dealing with some seriously intense summer heat. Seoul could climb all the way to 39 degrees Celsius tomorrow. Severe heatwave warnings remain in place across most of Seoul, and they've now expanded to Gwangju and parts of western Gangwon-do province. If you're in any of those areas, you need to stay out of the sun, get somewhere cool, and check in on your family and neighbors. These can be life-saving in extreme heat. And unfortunately, the heat doesn't ease much after sunset either. We also have very high UV levels across the country. And watch out for ozone levels as well. Levels could reach the very bad range tomorrow in Seoul, Incheon, and southern Gyeonggi-do province. As for temperatures, Seoul will start the day at 27 degrees, Chuncheon 25, and Daegu 26 degrees. Then by the afternoon, Seoul will soar to 39 degrees once again, Daegu 37 degrees, and Gwangju 38 degrees. For Seoul, clear skies and soaring temperatures will continue for the next several days. Now here's a look at the weather around the world.
That's all we have for tonight. I'm Kim Dami. From all of us here at Arirang, thanks for watching and good night.